You are tuned in to On Air with Chris Shanafelt.
Welcome back On Air with Chris Shanafelt. Don't forget you can catch the podcast now on iTunes as well as other platforms such as blogtalkradio.com and youtube.com. Just search On Air with Chris Shanafelt. This evening as we continue our 2019 NFL Draft Prospect Interview Series, we now welcome onto the show Michael Onuoha, defensive end out of Texas A&M Commerce. And Michael, really do appreciate you taking some time this evening. How's everything going?
No, thank you for having me on your show. Everything's great, man. Just out here training out in Houston, having a great time, making sure, I'm doing what it takes to obviously get to that next level that I'm pushing for.
Absolutely. And, this process has been a very busy one for you. As you said, you're now training in Houston. About a few weeks ago, you were in Los Angeles as you were among some of the best players in the country participating in the Nflpa Collegiate Bowl. For those who aren't familiar with it, it's one of the top college football all-star games there is. So certainly a big honor and certainly a great look for you. What was your experience like throughout the week? How do you feel you performed?
My experience throughout the week was awesome, man. One of the best facilities to ever go to out there in Pasadena. That stadium was awesome. They had us stay in an awesome hotel, the Intercontinental. Man, it was awesome. That I couldn't have asked for a better time. And I enjoyed all those coaches and all those players that I got to mingle with and grow with. It was an awesome experience.
You were, of course, part of the American team, which, of course, walked away with a victory the first time the American team won in the Nflpa Bowl's existence, I believe, 7-8 years. That team was, of course, led by Chuck Pagano, now the Chicago Bears defensive coordinator, former Indianapolis Colts head coach, former defense coordinator in Baltimore with those great defenses. But in general, what was it like to be around the star-studded coaching staff that the Nflpa Bowl put together? They do a great job every year. I know you're around guys like Corey Redding, who was one of your defensive line coaches. Just overall, the coaching staff that they had, the great, experience that these guys had, have gone through. What was it like to be around all that throughout the week?
Man, it was fun, man. It was actually one of the best times I've ever had with, most coaches. A lot of coaches are more strict. These guys were having fun. We're having fun in the meeting room, discussing plays and whatnot, holding ourselves accountable, things of that nature. It was awesome being able to, listen to some things that Ed Reed had to shoot to us. Obviously, he got inducted to the Hall of Fame. I give that guy a round of applause, man. He's one of the guys I've always watched as a little kid. And what did he have? The most interceptions? It was crazy, man. Just watching him growing up was one of the best experiences I've ever had, to even be there with him and being in the same hotel as him. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, that game there, the Nflpa Collegiate Bowl, they do a great job every year. This year they were able to reel in guys like an Ed Reed, Chuck Pagano, Corey Redding, and the list goes on. If you don't mind me asking, Michael, who were some of the teams you were able to meet with throughout the week? As we mentioned, Pagano was your head coach that week. We're based out of Chicago. Any chance you've heard from the Bears at all throughout this process yet?
Oh, yes. I definitely heard from the Bears. The guy I spoke with from the Bears was actually one of the funnier guys that I got to meet throughout that whole process. He made sure he was going to keep an eye on me, and he spotted me out because I was actually out on the field with some bright neon green cleats that I had. I call them my pass rushing cleats, FYI. But anyways, he said he was going to watch me a lot. And I was excited because obviously Chuck Pagano was there with the Chicago Bears, so it was awesome just being a part of that whole system, man. It was awesome.
All right, now I got to ask you. Obviously, playing defensive line, the Bears have a great history of just defense in general, specifically defensive linemen. Whether you go back and look at like the Dan Hampton, Steve McMichaels, or even today, Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, of course, highlighting that group, Leonard Floyd. I mean, obviously you'd love to play for any of the 32 organizations, but picture yourself in the navy blue and orange here in Chicago for a second, Michael. What would that opportunity be like to come to a city like Chicago, a city that's known for defense and certainly a football city, no doubt about it, and entering a defensive line room with the guys such as Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd, Akeem Hicks. I'm sure some guys you've probably watched quite a bit of over the past couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be awesome being picked up by any of the 32 teams, obviously. But obviously, if Chicago Bears called me up, I'm suited and booted and ready to go because, you got to be ready to go when you play for Chicago Bears, man. Throughout the whole process, when I was growing up, Brian Urlacher, like you're saying, Hicks, and all those guys, man, being able to watch them and, grow and potentially, be in their shoe, is what we all, shoot for nowadays. And, it'd be an awesome opportunity to put on that navy blue and orange, man. I'm telling you. I could already see myself and feel myself. Like the adrenaline is pumping already, just being able to think about that process of putting that gear on. And because with that C on your chest, man, I would imagine you have to be able to, prove a lot and be a great player. So
we're chatting with Michael Onuoha, the defensive end out of Texas A&M Commerce 2019 NFL Draft prospect. And Michael, taking a look now at your collegiate career, some of your experiences you've gone through over the past 4 or 5 years, things actually started out for you at the University of Oklahoma. You were a 4-star recruit coming out of Santa Fe High School. I can't think it gets too much bigger being from Edmond, Oklahoma, to attend the University of Oklahoma, play for the Sooners. Looking back, how would you describe your time at OU, and what went into your decision to move on, transfer down to the Division II level, and how did Commerce come into the picture?
Man, being at OU, being able to get recruited out of Oklahoma and playing Oklahoma was one of the greatest things, actually. One of the greatest, greatest attributes about me is just that process of getting recruited straight out of Edmond to Oklahoma, play as a true freshman. We all go through, roller coasters in our life at times. You just got to make sure that roller coaster is going up more than it is down. And for the time there that I had at OU, it was awesome. Met a lot of great guys, a lot of great players, learned some great things from a lot of different coaches. Decided to end up leaving, and then I ended up sitting out for about a year. And then after that year was over, I decided to, get back in the groove of things, and I ended up committed to Texas A&M Commerce. I'm glad Coach Carthel, gave me the chance to come out there on the team and prove myself and prove my abilities. Committed there, played there. 2016 was my first year there. It was my sophomore year, and my junior year we won the national championship. It was one of the best years of my life. Graduated and won the national championship, just to put the icing on the cake there. And this last season, finished it out with an interception on the line. It was one of the funnest times, of playing on the D line, man. If you get a pick off of the line, man, that I don't know what type of feeling it is, but it's one of the best feelings. It's one of the the most awesome feelings that you could ever feel. Being able to intercept the ball and take it about 45 yards up the field. So it was awesome.
It sounds awesome, and I'm curious. You said you've played at OU. You were able to, you got the opportunity. You were able to play as a true freshman, fresh out of high school, playing in the Big 12. I mean, was the competition level when you arrived at Commerce, playing at the Division II level, playing in one of the top conferences in Division II, the Lone Star Conference, was it as big of a drop-off that you had expected, or was the competition talent level actually better than you had initially expected, going from Big 12 to Lone Star Conference?
Right, yeah, we're talking about, D1 to D2 right now, so... I mean, yeah, that's a huge drop-off.
And they say that the offensive and defensive lines are where you can see it the most.
Right. So I'd compare the two. I'd say, obviously, you got the better nutrition and you got the all the more important things in the Division One. But D2, man, there's a lot of dogs out there. The year that I made it there to Commerce, we had a bunch of guys, man. We had a bunch of guys transfer from big D1s to Commerce. It almost seemed like, like we all just, essentially called each other, like, and just popped up in the same place. It was just the weirdest thing ever. So I came out there, man. I was like, am I in D2 or am I playing D1 AA? Because these guys were pretty big. So I was excited, man. The competition, being in the Lone Star Conference, is definitely different than the Big 12, conference. The competition is nowhere as good, but the guys that came to our team that 2016 year was phenomenal. Guys that you can play with almost anywhere, honestly.
And 2017, very special season for the Texas A&M Commerce Lions. You guys dominated from the first game to the last game of the season, which of course ended in Kansas City, where you guys were able to defeat West Florida 37-27. You guys won the Division II National Championship. You actually had a couple tackles and a sack in that National Championship game. How special of a year was that for you, Michael? Not many get to say that they've played in a national championship game. I don't care what level you're talking, whether it is, FBS, Division I, or, FCS, D2, D3, whatever. Not many get to say that they've played in a national championship game, let alone win it.
It's kind of a surreal feeling. It's almost just like chopping at the wood, like Coach Carter would say most of the time. You just got to keep chopping and keep chopping, and that's what we did. We didn't look behind us. We didn't look in front of us. All we did was look at the opponent that was in our face at the time. And since we stuck to that mindset, I felt like it pushed down all the other noises that are all around us. Kind of muffled all that out, and next thing I know, we're holding up the trophy in the middle of the stadium and partying and dancing and jumping around and whatnot. So it was a great experience. It's hard to explain. You got to be in a national championship to be able to explain how it is. It's a surreal feeling, and it's an awesome feeling to be number one. So.
Absolutely, and then of course this past season, your senior year, quite a year for you individually, and you racked up 47 tackles, 14.5 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, and you guys went on to make another run in the playoffs, defeating Minnesota Duluth. Unfortunately, following the following week, you guys dropped to Tarleton, 28-34, second seed. Can you believe your collegiate career has now come to an end, and here you are? Preparing to make the jump to the professional level? I mean, is it almost surreal that you're at this point now, Michael?
It's a great feeling. At the time, we all the seniors kind of looked at each other and was like, man, this is crazy that this is happening, and that it ended, so short. But when it really comes down to it, for the guys that are really invested in football, this is just a time to improve and learn from your mistakes and continue to grow and just take it day by day, and next thing you know, you're getting called by different teams, and your career is still going on, and that's exactly how most guys that were on that team last year, that's kind of our mindset, just looking forward and just working to get to the next level. That was the next step, essentially. But this season was definitely awesome. We did what we could, and anybody on that team could tell you that we gave it all. That last game was a tough one for all of us, but we did everything that we could to try to get that W. We actually the defense, man, we were getting 3 and outs. I think we had the most consecutive 3 and outs we had, throughout the whole season during that last game. So defense definitely gave it all, and we did what we could to try to get that win for sure.
Again, that's Michael Onuoha, the defensive end out of Division II's Texas A&M Commerce, by way of the University of Oklahoma 2019 NFL Draft prospect. A couple more minutes with the pass rusher out of Commerce, and I see on your profile on the Texas A&M website, they have you listed at 6'5", 255. Is that about where you're at right now, or if not, can you give us an update as to what your current height and weight is today?
Yes, I am 6'5.5". Obviously with shoes on, I'd be 6'6". I weigh, exactly about 255 pounds. Potentially going to go in on that weight, or I might actually throw on a little bit more pounds. Me and my trainers are going to kind of discuss that and kind of see what we're going to do on the weight side. But 255 pounds, 6'5".
And you can see that, I'm looking at, right now I'm on your profile, and they're just scrolling through some pictures of you, throughout your time at Commerce, and, you just look like, you don't normally see a physical specimen like yourself in the Division II ranks. It's really quite impressive, and obviously what you've been able to do over the years, again, quite impressive. So we mentioned the Nflpa Bowl. What else has this process consisted of for you, Michael? I mean, you end the season in the Division II playoffs. You have a few weeks. You get set for the Nflpa Bowl. You're now training in Houston. Where exactly are you training at in Houston, and what's your average day look like?
Oh, my average day is busy, man. So my average day, I wake up at 6. After I wake up at 6, I usually eat a quick little breakfast, grab something, head out to my strength and conditioning coach. That is out there near Katy, and after that, around 10 is when we finish. We take a break. We come back at 2 o'clock. And then we lift. After we lift, usually I get in contact with my position coach, to get some position work in. So, a span of a day for me is usually about, I'm busy from 6 o'clock in the morning, man, till nearly 3 p.m. So, this is a time to work, and it's a time to, improve on my craft and, grow as a player. And that's what we do at this time to make sure we're prepared for that next level. So,
well, it's definitely going to pay off, no doubt about it. You're obviously training for your pro day. You've done all you can. You've put whatever you've been able to put on tape. Can't go back now. Now you're training for your pro day. You're kind of having to turn yourself into kind of a track star. Is that something that you're looking forward to doing? Is this something that you enjoy doing, kind of a totally different phase in this whole pro football journey of yours?
Well, I'd say, man, I mean, all around, man, I'm an all-around athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how I look at it. Obviously, when I was getting recruited from Oklahoma, I was getting recruited as a tight end at first. I can catch a ball. I can go and catch it up at its peak. And then I got switched. Decided to go on the defensive side because I ended my senior year in high school playing defensive end. So I decided to stick with that. Everyone's really been looking at my length and putting it in perspective for the future. And it's one thing that I've really appreciated all my coaches from the past for pointing out the more important things that I've got that can lead me to being successful. My long arms, man. So I got a 35.5 inch arm, each arm. So I think in total they said it's my wingspan is about 7'8" or 7'7", something like that. I really love to take advantage of using my long arm in my position work. And I'm just excited to potentially continue to grow as an athlete, grow my body, grow my muscles, work on my 40. I ran track in high school, so that's a positive because I know how to come out of the blocks for my 40 times and cone drills and things like that. So yeah, man, I'm excited to show these numbers. Like you said, the film speaks for itself. It actually doesn't speak as loud as it will. It won't speak as loud until they actually see me on the field and see what I got. Because another thing is, at the Nflpa game, man, all the scouts were excited and happy about the way that I moved. I'm very light on my feet, I just have this God-given talent that I'm truly blessed to have, and I thank my parents for blessing me with this physique that I have, and I'm going to take advantage of whatever I can with this body that I got.
No doubt. And it's almost like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I gotta think defensive line coaches, defensive coordinators, they gotta be licking their chops when looking at you as a prospect, because it's almost like they could mold you into kind of however of a pass rusher they want you to be. They can kind of, there's still potential for you to grow. Is almost what it sounded like you were saying as well.
Yeah. So in Commerce, I started out as an outside linebacker, stand-up DN, that mainly just pass rush the outside. Kind of just like we ran a simple 4-3. And this last year that we got a new defensive coordinator. He's awesome, Coach Powers. He's currently coaching at SFA right now. One of the best defensive coordinators you can ever ask for, man. When you go into college career, man, that's the guy you probably need to call for some advice on how to run a defense. Because that guy, man, I can't explain it. His schemes, his schemes, and the way he hides his technique, man, is awesome, man. I've learned so much from him. So I ended up starting to be able to drop back into coverage. This started this last season, 2018. So we ran more of a, we ran a 4-3, but at times we dropped the end in coverage. And that's a lot of times I ran that scheme. So being able to drop back in coverage and being able to rush the passer, and even potentially being able to play the 3 technique is what I perfect on, is my perfection, and it's what I work towards. So when I look at it, man, like you were saying, I'm a very versatile player. At the Nflpa game, they actually put me on one of the special teams, and I was like, man, I've never played special teams ever in my life. and all of a sudden, the special team coordinator at the time that was at the Nflpa game, he actually was complimenting me and actually letting me know that I was doing a great job. And I was surprised because obviously, like I said, I've never played special teams. I never played kickoff return before.
Right.
So being able to be put in that position and do a good job, man, it just tells me a lot that obviously I can be very versatile, and it doesn't matter what it takes, man. I'm going to get the job done regardless. So I'm excited for what the NFL got for me. And I'm going to potentially do some awesome things. So,
any update on your pro day? Do you know where will Commerce be holding a pro day? By any chance, would you be able to get into the Oklahoma pro day, or is that still something that's kind of in the works?
Yeah, Steve, we were thinking about going Oklahoma route. Obviously, I'm already out here in Houston.
Right.
So what we decided to do is I got put into the pro day at Sam Houston, March 21st. So I'll be out there running and running up those numbers. So I'm excited for that. and ready to go, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, couple more minutes with you, and then I'll let you go. Really do appreciate your time. I know your schedule's really busy. Been really enjoying this conversation. Again, he's Michael Onuoha, the defensive end out of Texas A&M Commerce. Very vague question here, Michael, but your favorite part about playing the defensive end position?
My favorite part about playing the defensive end position, man, getting a forced fumble sack, man. That's the best. That's the best play any defensive player, especially D-line, can get, man.
Better than that interception?
Better than that interception, because you can potentially sack them, force the fumble, pick up the ball, and make the touchdown like Khalil Mack and a lot of the great guys does in the league right now. So that would be my favorite play. That'd be my favorite play.
Who's the quarterback you're eager to get after once you strap on your helmet in the NFL?
Man, I've been saying this for the longest, and I was hoping that he did not retire, and that is Tom Brady, man. I'm sorry, but I've heard all things about him, man. He knows how to get the ball all out right before you get there. He knows how to do this, do that, man. Like Ed Reed said, man, the lowest man wins, dude. And, if I come in there, lower than him and he doesn't see me coming around the corner, that'll be my chance, to potentially to put the king to rest.
All right, now, Michael, when you're drafted by the Patriots in April, I'll be sure to cut this part out, all right?
Yeah. Hey, he'd probably like that, man.
No doubt.
That's competition there, man. I know guys that love competition. I know guys that don't know competition, and Tom Brady's the guy that knows competition, and he loves competition. So I can definitely ride for that. So.
For those who are not familiar with your game, you've kind of explained it quite a bit here in our conversation. But let's just say for the average fan, it's kind of hard to find a Texas A&M Commerce football game. How would you describe your game?
My style, the way I play, I'd say I compare myself to when DeMarcus Ware was playing. I compare myself to his body style and his. I don't know if I might be a little bit taller than him, but I compare my style to DeMarcus Ware. Just very versatile, man. Just can get as low as anybody else. Can be as strong as anybody else, can drop back into coverage, can scoop around the corner and make a quick sack. I'm reliable whenever the time comes. If you call me out, I'm going to make the play. I'm going to make the play. I got to. It's something that I've realized that, only specific and certain D linemen have that trait where, if you're called out and if you're asked to make a play, you got to make that. You got to make that play. And that's the way I look at it. I actually look at every play as my play, so potentially trying to get all the tackles. But when it comes down to it, man, being able to make plays is the only thing that D linemen should even be working towards. So.
Well, I really appreciate this conversation, Michael. One last question before we let you go. Let's say it's a question I end all my interviews with, and that is, let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're listening to this very interview. Why should they want the defensive end out of Texas A&M Commerce, Michael Onuoha, part of their organization?
I bring this work ethic that that everybody can vibe with and grow with. I take care of business. When business is involved, like I keep saying, man, I'm very versatile. Whatever you need to put me in, special teams, it doesn't matter what it is, man. I'm gonna make something happen. So, just the way I look at it is excitable, man. I love the game. It doesn't matter. It's kind of hard to explain and try to tell somebody what you have. Mm-hmm. Rather than just, being out there and showing them what you got and what you do and how you perform. I'm a very charismatic guy, man. I love to get to the ball. I'm always early and on time. film study. I love film on the opponent versus myself. Playbook, man, I preach in the playbook. Learned that from Coach Powers when I was there at Texas A&M Commerce, and I love to grow. So those are some things that some of those teams can see, and hopefully they pick me up, and somebody picks me up and sees that and gets to experience the Big Mike effect.
Absolutely. I love it, man. I love it. Well, certainly, very grade A personality, no doubt about that. Again, just really appreciate your time, and congrats on all the success, whether we're talking about way back when you made your decision to attend Oklahoma, to, then finding your way back on the field at Texas A&M Commerce, winning the national championship there, repping Commerce one last time in L.A. At the Nflpa Collegiate Bowl, and now here you are getting set to put on a show at the Sam Houston State Pro Day, and then, of course, we got the NFL Draft in April. Michael, really do appreciate you taking some time this evening, and certainly wishing you the best as you continue this journey, man.
Thank you, sir. It was awesome talking to you, man.